Today you're going to learn how to close your first ever agency client on a sales meeting. This is John. John is a member of our community. That's not his real name, but he kindly shared a recent meeting that he had where he got a client over the line and made a sale. Now, if you're watching this and you're struggling to close clients for your agency right now, you're banging your head against the wall on your sales meetings, this is going to be an invaluable video for you. So make sure you close all your tabs and pay attention, because I'm going to be watching this video for the first time, stopping it and providing my critique throughout. Because regardless of the fact that John got this client over the line, sales is an ever-growing skill and there's always more to learn. I've closed millions in revenue from sales calls, including at my agency, Affluent.co, and I cannot wait to jump into this today to help you guys, because if you implement what you learn in today's video, you, like John, will be signing your first client from an agency meeting very, very soon. So let's get stuck into it.
So I was in the wrong place. So it actually wasn't their fault, but I was like, oh my gosh, like I've been sitting here for 30 minutes. So good times.
Sweet. Cool. Thank you so much for taking this call today. I used to live up in Logan with my wife at Four Seasons, so I was super close to you guys, but I'm out here in Ogden. But yeah, I've been working with probably 5 years now, and I was thankful for him for referring you guys over. But yeah, again, thank you for taking the call. I just want to use this as a time to learn more about your business and then kind of tell you what we do and see if there's a potential fit for helping you guys out, trying to increase your sales over the next year. So normally the way I structure these calls is just learning more about your business, where you're currently at, some goals that you have revenue wise, and then we can get into what I can do. I have a super short 2-slide presentation that kind of shows you our system, and then we can talk about what it might look like in practice.
Okay.
Cool. So just starting out, so why, I know that I was referred over to you and we kind of started it that way, but why is it exactly that you wanted to take this call with an agency today?
Well, we've tried to.
Okay, I'm just gonna stop there quickly. Nice. So we've cut into this meeting like ahead of the rapport building. After that? So I presume there would have been some niceties beforehand. But this agency owner's done a really nice job at building some rapport there, and mentioned that they lived in the same location, mentioned that they got a referral. So actually they got a referral from a friend, someone they knew that owns this business, but they're still coming in cold here. And then we've gone straight into controlling the frame. Now, I think that this is done nicely. Okay, so what we're doing when we're controlling the frame is simply stating how the meeting is going to go and setting the precedent that we're going to manage this meeting and we're in charge here, and then asking a question to maintain that frame at the end. Now, I think this could have been cut in half, but that'll be something that comes to practice. A really good job for a first time here. Is this second or third meeting, I believe, so it's a good job regardless. But we could rephrase this something like, okay, so thank you for taking the call. I've been looking forward to speaking with you. So I'm going to start this off by asking you some questions about your current position, and maybe we can establish your goals as a business and where you'd like to get to, and some of the things that are stopping you getting there. And if we are a good fit for each other, and only then, I do have a quick presentation I can run through and provide a solution to you. But quickly before we get into it, I know obviously we were referred over to each other, but what was the reason you said yes to having a call with me? Okay, so we can make it shorter. We don't need to kind of go back and forth. And you don't have to mention like that, I'm going to establish your goals and find out your current revenue and things like that. We don't need to highlight that. We can simply say, like, I've got some questions for you. I want to establish where you are in the business at the moment. And then if we're good fit for each other, etc. You get the idea. But nicely done. Nicely done here.
Do the Facebook ads and have kind of come up with a roadblock as far as like you can't use most of the keywords like that we can't say laser hair removal, we can't say, I mean, just all kinds of like words that you should be able to say that you can't say in the ad. And so I'm like, well, how the heck are we gonna do Facebook ads if we can't use any words?
That makes sense.
So yeah.
Were you running those ads by yourself, or were you working with a third party?
By yourself.
By yourselves? Okay. Do you know when you tested out those ads? How long has it been?
I want to say that my husband tried again like a month ago.
A month ago?
Was like still having that issue. So.
And you were just like running into ad disapprovals and your ads weren't launching, or what was
like I'm able to boost posts, like the posts that I do.
This is great active listening. We're reaffirming what the client is saying, repeating it back to them. We're essentially mirroring them here. So yeah, this is great active listening.
I'm able to boost those, but like to actually create a Facebook ad, it would not let us like use any of the pictures we wanted to or any of the words we wanted to. So I was like, well, how do we do that?
Got you. And for the boosted post, do you regularly use that as a way to boost your engagement on your posts, or
I would say it's like a consistent but just like certain posts that I'm like, I think this one will do well, then I'll boost it. So
Absolutely. Okay.
yeah.
Cool. And with those, do you see any sort of increase in, new clients coming in and wanting to book a consultation?
Okay, so what's happened here is this is good. We're asking probing questions, but the client identified an issue, and the discovery stage is all about identifying issues. The client said to us, okay, we're having these issues. We can't even mention hair removal on Facebook. And what happened with this agency owners, they asked some good questions and they acknowledged that fact, but they didn't dig into that specific issue. They didn't dig into that and see if we could cause or dig some pain there as well. What kind of issues, what kind of keywords are you trying to be run? How have you tried to solve that on your own, etc. Okay, we haven't dug that pain and gone into that specific issue, and maybe even we could have provided a quick resolve and a quick understanding. Look, I completely understand Facebook can be a bit of a mindful when it comes to keywords. That's why it's very important that you understand the right terminology that you can use. Out of interest, what was it specifically you were struggling with to publish? Okay, and then dig into that. Okay, how many times a month were you getting ads disapproved? Oh, I bet you lost a lot of confidence in running ads and doing that. Again, we're digging that pain and going into that specifically before we then move the conversation along, which is what's happening now.
Patient, or is it more just you're getting likes on that post, more engagement?
It's hard to say because it's not like I can really track like where, if they saw that post and why they called or texted or whatever. But
Absolutely. Okay.
Yeah. So
great. That makes sense. So you tried out ads, you tried them as early as just the last month ago. Other than doing Facebook ads, do you use any other paid advertising platforms or any other ways to get new clients in the door?
Okay, so it'll be interesting to see if this agency owner comes back to this, but we just missed another issue that was raised by the client. They said that they were boosting posts, okay, which is not great anyway, and they were struggling to track. And be like, look, I completely understand your issue with tracking with boosted posts because they are just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to Facebook ads, okay? They are essentially an engagement ad that get you likes, comments, and shares. They're vanity metrics. And so they're not built for you to track customers, and so I'm not surprised at this stage that you weren't able to do that with boosted posts. And of course, if we were to work together, we would make sure we were focused on actual conversion ads so you can track everything end to end. So a little statement that's going to build some authority there. It's going to overcome that kind of previous misconception that they've got based on Facebook ads. But yeah.
New clients in the door?
No, we pretty much just use our Instagram. And then we've, word of mouth is huge for us. So
Gotcha.
I would say we probably get more people from word of mouth than any other way, but
yeah, that makes sense.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
So
do you know how many other like med spas aesthetic practices are in Logan? I'm not aware of too many others.
Well, there weren't until about 3 months ago, and now there's about 10.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you seen a dramatic dip ever since they come in, or?
I wouldn't say there's a dip in ours. I just like one of the bigger med spas, like kind of like self-destructed, I guess you could say, for better use of words. And so I was hoping to get like the majority of their clients, but with so many other places to go, it's, I think it's just kind of like dispersed through the other 9 out there.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, while you've been in the Valley the longest, do you think you've built up any sort of unique like service or any reason why people would come to you rather than the other med spas?
Well, so my husband's an OBGYN, and so like we're one of the few that's actually run by a doctor.
Okay.
So that's one thing. I would say that our vibe is kind of like a place where everyone can feel comfortable, not like you have to be like, it's not like, we're the most upscale and blah, 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 like just like, we're kind of like middle of the just everyday person can feel comfortable in here. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Great. Out of all the services that you do offer, is there one that most people choose or one that really gets new people in the door, one that's most popular for you guys?
I would say laser hair removal is probably the gateway to other services.
Okay.
That or Botox. Those are probably the 2 biggest ones. We do a lot of hormone therapy as well though. So it just kind of varies like depending on what the age of the client. So
when you were doing the Facebook ads, were you trying to get new laser hair removal clients in the door, or what service were you promoting there?
We weren't able to do an ad for laser hair removal. So we were just kind of doing a more general one, I guess. Like just posting the website, not really doing like particular service. That would be the service that I'd probably target though if we were going to do an ad.
Laser hair removal. Okay.
Mhm.
Perfect. And when you were building out those ads, so you were just pushing directly to the site, you weren't doing any sort of like Facebook lead forms or any sort of branded funnel on your website?
I honestly don't know because my husband did it. So
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
No worries. No worries. Cool.
that is
Okay.
my talent is talking to the people, not the computer stuff. Hence
No.
why I was late on getting on the Google Meet. So
No, that's completely fine. Cool. Sweet. So that's some really good background. Now I just want to kind of get an idea of where you're at, revenue wise, and then if you have any goals for the next 6 months.
That we saw that come up again, that issue of wanting to advertise laser hair removal. We could have dug into that here. There's an opportunity to dig into that specific pain and overcoming that, because you absolutely can advertise hair removal with no issues whatsoever. So, yeah.
6 months next year. So do you have an idea of what your current monthly revenue is sitting at?
This is not including expenses, right?
Yeah.
Like, probably like, shoot. I mean, it really just depends on the month. January will be super slow because that's just how January is. But here, let me look at my thing here. I would say, like, honestly, most days it feels like as soon as the money comes in, it goes right back out.
Yeah.
to either make payments on the machines or stocks or whatever it is. Like, I mean, I can spend $10,000 and not even like blink anymore because that's what it costs to get Botox. So, I would say like maybe 5,000 to 10,000 a month.
Okay.
Is our revenue would be after all the bills are paid.
Small
okay.
business.
And in like an ideal world, maybe a year down the road, do you have a revenue target that you're trying to hit that you would be comfortable with? That would help you, scale out. Maybe that's new locations, maybe it's new staff, maybe it's just a point where you're more comfortable with the money you're bringing in.
I mean, I'd be happy with 20,000 a month.
Okay. Cool. And sorry, jumping back to the laser hair removal, when you're booking new clients in for that, do you know how much their first appointment is, and then how many appointments do you try to get them in for to complete the whole routine?
So I would say our most popular one is like our medium
Good
area,
question.
and that one's 650.
Okay.
Package is 650, and that's for 6 treatments.
Okay. And do they generally pay for that all up front, or do they pay per service?
Most of them pay for the package up front. I do offer
Okay.
people to pay for half of it, their first treatment, and then
Okay.
when they come back a month later, pay the second half, because then it's on 2 different pay periods, and it, feels more doable for people to do than to pay
Yeah.
for the whole thing up front.
Okay.
And I'd rather they do that than, like, when people ask to pay over the phone, I try to avoid that because you get charged more fees,
Mhm.
more credit card fees for charging it over the phone. So
Okay. And out of those people who do come in for the laser hair removal, how often are you upselling them to doing Botox or injectables or other services with you?
I wouldn't say super often. I mean, we get a few that will be like, "Oh, you guys do this, and you guys do that," and
Mhm.
I would say my staff is not like, that's one area that we could for sure improve on is, telling them about other services while they're in for the one service.
Okay. That makes sense. So you're not like trying to
But we're
pressure
not
sales
super
them into
pushy.
anything.
Yeah, we're not super pushy. Like, we kind of like let the things sell themselves, and that's, I mean, kind of what sets us apart from other places. We
Yeah.
don't want people to be like, "Oh, well, I went in for this, and then I spent $2,000 that I didn't have," So,
Mhm.
Yeah, that's kind of where we're.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So you're at 5 to 10K a month. Your goal is 20K. And I think with the 650 package price for the laser hair removal, it's definitely doable within the future doing paid advertising. Once you're able to get to that 20K per month mark, is there anything that you would want to do to grow the business? How would things change for you if you were at that?
I mean, I would like to, like, right now we're only open 2 days a week. I
Okay.
would like to open a 3rd day a week as another goal.
Okay.
So yeah, just to be able to like be open more days, maybe add another staff member if we needed it. But really, I just like to get the the 5 that I had busier.
Got you. So on the other days of the week, is your husband doing OBGYN at a different place?
A different
And
location.
okay, got you. Cool. Sweet. Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
the thing that kills us right now is like that laser machine, the laser hair removal machine, just the insurance on it is $1,500 a month.
Really?
That's not counting the payments on it as well.
Okay.
So like I have to pay $3,000 a month just to have the machine in my office before I even, and that's like the same with every machine. We have 4 machines. So it's like, it's, you know, hard to make money when you've got all these stupid payments that you're making every month.
Yeah, that's tough. So it's costing you $4,500 a month. Are you making at least that in laser hair removal services every month, or are you kind of falling behind and making it up
We
elsewhere?
usually do in the winter months because that's when people get laser hair removal. It's definitely harder in the summer because people aren't getting laser hair removal in the summer.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
But thankfully it's winter for 6 months here. So
yeah, that is true. Last winter, it was the worst winter I've ever had in Logan. It was horrible. There was snow outside everywhere. Like I said, I was in an apartment building, so I didn't have to do any snow removal. But yeah, it was terrible.
Yeah, I mean it was still cold and rainy in June. It was really depressing. So
I know. Yeah. Cool. Is there any other, pain points that you're having in the business that you're hoping to solve, or anything you think I should know about you guys before we kind of get into how we might be able to fix this for you?
Nope, not really. Can't think of anything else.
Okay, sweet. Cool. So I took a look at your website, your social media on your Instagram.
Nice. Okay. So just some quick analysis. This agency owner is very composed, lovely tone of voice, great active listening. They're really good. This is a great example, guys. You've got so much to learn here from this agency owner. Really, really good discovery stage here. Intelligent questions asked throughout. You can tell that he's thinking about things. He's actually listening. This is the thing that makes a difference. Well, so many agency owners are not listening on their meetings. He's actively listening to every single thing that she's saying, and therefore asking intelligent questions, which shows that he actually cares, and this builds so much rapport. So, and once we have done that, and we've built some really good rapport here, and he's gone back and he spoke about winter and everything, brilliant. The one thing I do think that we've lacked here, and there's an area for improvement, is definitely digging the pain. So like, they're a small business, 5 to 10k. In many cases, when you're an established agency, this won't even be a suitable client. And they want to get to 20k, and that's great. We've got that very clear goal. But with now having 10 other competitors in the area, I want to hear that question. So you're at 5 to 10k a month. Do you still maintain the top position in the area, or have some of those new competitors crept in and got bigger than you already? Because if we can establish that, or we could say, are any of your competitors making more than you? If we can establish that there's a competitor that's doing bigger, and we can dig into the reasons why, and we can dig into the pain, and we can create that fundamental desire of being the best, of not accepting that somebody else is going to come out there and replace them. So I'd like to see that digging the pain. Well, I think we missed out digging the pain of obviously the tracking issues of the boosted post and the certain keywords and so on. So we missed out those specifics. But overall, nice discovery stage here. Let's see how we now present
Instagram. Like you said, you're getting a lot of your clients through Instagram, word of mouth. You've built up a great following there, and some of the content you have on there is really great. So commend you on that. A lot of people within your revenue range don't have as good social medias as you do. So that's nice. Super great. A lot of these pictures, I know a lot of them aren't laser hair removal focused, but if this is the quality of your content, I think it could make some really great ads. And laser hair removal definitely is able to be ran on Facebook, but like you said, you can run into ad policy rejections. So there are some workarounds to it, but it is definitely possible.
That's good.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's not like you tried it once, got rejected, you can never try again. There's definitely ways to do it. Cool. So let me see. I know that you're not currently running any ads, but sometimes your previous ads will show up in the ad library. Let me just give you a quick search real quick, see if I can see anything, any glaring issues, to see if, this is the one thing that was getting you rejected. Let's see. Aesthetics. Yeah, okay. It's not showing anything, but that's no worries. Like I said, there's ways to get around everything on Facebook. So cool. If you don't mind, I'll just show you that 2-slide PowerPoint that I have that kind of shows you what we do in our strategy. Is that fine if I screen share that for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just looking up a password really quick. Hold on
Oh,
one
no worries. I just have to rearrange my screen, so it's going to take me a second here.
I keep having to change passwords and I can't remember.
We could be a little bit more prepared. That transition could be a little bit smoother. I like that we've addressed the keyword issue now. I think that's good. We all have different styles, by the way. In my styles, I like to have a little bit of a conversation in the discovery stage. I like to help them overcome their issues, a few small issues. I dig the pain, but then see if we can, if I can give them a little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel in the discovery stage by highlighting a few things that they've said. In this instance, the agency owners kind of saved them just for the presentation of the solution. Well, only the keyword. So I like that. I think he's pulled it off really nicely, but we've missed a few fundamentals, and I think this could be a little bit smoother at this stage and moving on to the presentation.
Change your password, and then you try to type in a new password, and it says you can't use the previous password. And like, I just tried that.
Apparently, whatever I typed in here is not right. So that's awesome. All right. Cool. Let me tap this back in. Okay.
Sweet. Is this too small for you? You need me to zoom in on anything?
No, I can see.
Okay, cool. So our strategy might be a little bit different than what your husband previously tried, but everything starts out with the Facebook or the Instagram ad. They run on both platforms, as I'm sure you know, but we do a lot of testing with different ad copy, different creatives. And again, we're always just trying to make sure they're Facebook compliant, because, you know, sometimes you'll be running an ad and you'll get great performance, but then once you start getting more impressions on that ad, Facebook takes another look at it and you get rejected and you're kind of back to square one. So always working on being compliant and trying to get the highest conversion rates possible through the ad. With all that traffic, we push people into a Facebook lead form. So what's great with this, as opposed to going directly to your website, is we're able to collect all the information you need from a potential client. So their first name, their email, their phone number, which is all auto-populated by Facebook. So it makes it really easy for potential clients to submit their information. And these are all highly customizable, so it'll look really nice and branded. You can also throw in a couple different questions in there. If you were asking people if they're interested in, Botox or laser hair removal, you can do some other pre-qualifying questions in there as well. Basically, we just try to keep it really short and simple. You can test out doing some offers like $50 off your first service. Definitely not necessary. I know you need to pay off that $4,500 a month for your machine, so it would be great to get these people in at full price. But we can test out different offers there. And
yeah, we actually have several $50 off coupons throughout the valley, and I'm kind of surprised at how little have been redeemed.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
well, if you're comfortable with the $50, I've seen those $50 off offers work really well. So if that's something that you're currently doing,
try it.
Okay, perfect. So with all that traffic, once they get through the Facebook lead form, it'll say thank you for submitting your information. We'll be in contact shortly. They have the option we can either link your website, they can view your website, or go back to your Instagram, give you a call. But we generally just end the experience for the user at that point. With that traffic, we'll send them into a lead automation funnel. So it's basically a follow-up. I know you might have received a few follow-ups from me for this meeting. It'll be kind of similar to that, but built out for your brand, not for a meeting like this.
Yeah.
So they'll get the email and text confirmations, which are really just trying to get them from that, warm interest to actually wanting to book a consultation with you. We also have appointment setters who will manually reach out to all of the leads, talk to them on the phone, walk them through the services, or text them however they're wanting to speak with your business. And our ultimate goal is just trying to get them actually on your calendar. That was another thing on your website. I saw that you do book for consultations. Do you utilize any sort of lead booking software, or do you kind of just run everything manually through maybe a Google Calendar?
So we use Aesthetics Pro.
Okay.
Is our booking. And I book all the appointments. So I'm the one that answers it's just a cell phone, off the cell phone.
Okay.
So they can call or text, and then I set the appointments. And the reason I do that, I don't want it to be where they can book it, because I try to be efficient with the staff and, fill in holes instead of booking somebody at 9 a.m. and somebody else at 4.
Definitely.
So.
Okay. Totally makes sense. Cool. So that's kind of the general gist of how we do things. Just goes from the ad to the lead form, and then split that off to the lead automation as well as the appointment setter, and then we can get them booked. But
So
that is
could
a good point. You want
could
to be
it go
efficient.
just directly to me? Like, could it go directly to the cell phone?
Yeah, generally. So a lot of the smaller clients that we work with within the revenue mark that you're kind of at, they don't like spending the extra time on the phones because they just want to get the leads and people in their chairs. But if you do want to be the one contacting these leads and talking to them and trying to get them booked efficiently, that is definitely something that we could do instead.
Yeah.
We've seen really great success doing the lead automation software with the appointment setting. So we'd like to keep that up just to keep those leads, warm. We want to have constant communication with them just to stay in their mind. But if you're wanting to maintain control of that, that's definitely fine.
Okay.
It's all your preference.
Okay.
Any questions on the main strategy before I kind of get into just the last slide? Okay, perfect. I know maybe you haven't been to the Facebook Ads Manager before.
I'll let this roll
since
before
your
I
husband was running it.
give my
But
comments.
I just like showing this, just showing what your potential reach could be. This is based on Ogden. Logan is, a little bit smaller, so your reach isn't going to be as large as it is down here. But these are just some metrics based on industry averages. We always aim to surpass the averages, but it's a good starting point. So just based off of $10 of ad spend per day, you can be expecting to reach 500 users on the platform. That's based on a $20 industry CPM. Of course, this can always vary depending on your location, but I've ran ads in Logan before, and that is something that's pretty doable. Click-through rate, which is how many people actually click on your ad, go to the lead form out of the impressions. Industry average is 1%. We always aim for at least 1% on the creatives, but just looking at the quality of your content, I know we could definitely get above this. So just with these numbers, you can expect around 5 lead form views per day and 1 lead per day. And these are all based on $10 of spend. Of course, if your click-through rate boosted up to 2%, these numbers double. So that kind of just gives you an idea of what things might look like once you start spending on the platform and you actually get your ads approved. I know that's been an issue for you.
Yeah.
So let me go ahead and stop sharing this. Rearrange my windows again one more time. Cool. Okay. Any questions about the slide deck before we kind of get into the last stage of the meeting?
Nope, I don't think so.
Okay. Perfect. So do you have an idea of what your monthly marketing budget would be, at least starting out?
Okay. So, presentation's super simple. I like that. Like, I can't stand saying when agency owners use complicated presentations when they're just starting out. Like, only if you're pitching to large-scale businesses where it requires almost like a tender, do you need to have like a proper in-depth presentation where you're covering multiple services, etc. So I like how simple this presentation is. I think it would be really easy for this agency owner to make the ad that they had on screen an actual mock-up for the client. That would be even better. So like an actual dummy ad that they would create for them. I think that would be even better and have even more wow factor there. One thing I've been mindful of is we were selling the mechanics quite a lot. We're very much talking about like the mechanics of we're talking about the click-through rate and the CPM and things like that. These are things that broadly speaking the client doesn't really care about. We didn't dwell on them for too long, but we did leave the presentation before asking if they had any questions at that stage. Okay, so we want to make sure that throughout these, when we're presenting our solution, throughout our elevator pitch, we're saying things like, "Are you with me? Are you following? Does this make sense?" So we're giving them the opportunity to ask questions throughout rather than us getting through the entire pitch and then allowing them to ask questions. And if they've got lots of questions at this stage and they're confused, then they'll normally just be like, "No, I'm okay." Second thing I would say is transition now. We're now transitioning to close. We want to affirm, we want to get yeses from them. We want to affirm with them that this is, or they believe this solution can help them solve their problem. So we want to ask them that question. Do you believe that this strategy can help you get more hair removal clients? Okay, and we want to get that yes from them, or even better, we get a no and an objection. Okay, so we go, I'm just not sure. We want to go through objections before we then present the price. Okay, we're gonna go through objections anyway after we get the price, but we want to try and cover as many objections pre-close as possible, and so we want to try and dig that out of them. Do you think, based on what you've seen, or do you have confidence in my ability to be able to get you more hair removal clients? Yeah, no, okay. Are you ready to proceed to the next stage? Yes. Okay, cool. Okay, rather than is it okay if I now move to the next stage of the meeting, or can I show you the next slide? We want to be getting them to ask for it through subconscious yeses. Yes, it's the right solution. Yes, I want to proceed to the next stage, rather than, can I show you the next stage of the slide, or can we move on through the presentation? Or can I move to the next stage of the meeting? Those kind of things is a little bit less natural, and we want to be controlling that frame and have the client asking us to proceed. In an ideal situation, of course. Okay, it's easy for me to sit here and say how this should go.
That's $1 million question.
Yeah, it is.
I would say like probably 500 a month.
Okay.
Well done asking for the budget. It's an important question.
Perfect. Okay. That's a great place to start. If you've never seen great success with Facebook ads, it is great to start out lower, and we can always scale that down the roads. But $500 is like the minimum I recommend. So that's a great starting point. So kind of getting into how working with us would work. So our service fee is $500 a month, plus the $500 in ad spend. So you'd pay us that $500, and then the $500 that you're spending on the platform would be coming out of your end. So that's not an upfront charge. You're just getting charged as you run ads on the platform. Okay. We also usually have a startup fee of $1,000 for our clients just to get things rolling, getting the phone number set up so we can text people through the lead automation software, creating the ads. Since you were referred to me, I'm willing to waive that. So it would just be the $500 service fee. We generally like working with our clients for about 3 months, and then we kind of reevaluate how things are going, and we can
too much,
and talk about additional services that you want to do.
Yeah. Okay. So it'd be $1,000 a month.
Okay. Right. Before we even get onto this, you state the price and you stay dead. You don't, and if you've set the price at the start, don't then go and to say, oh, we've got this 3-month trial period, 3-month contract period, etc., and all these other things to think about. Oh, but we also have this service fee up front that you have to pay, and we're going to waive that for you because you're a referral. That's fine to use those things, but use them at the start of your statement, and you finish on how much it actually costs, and then stay dead and don't say anything else. So you could say, so we usually have a $1,000 setup fee, although you were referred to us, and so I'd be willing to waive that for you. So that would simply mean that you'd be paying our service fee of $500 a month plus a $500 ad spend. That's all you need to say. Keep it simple. Okay, you can rephrase that in whatever way you want, but end with the price, stay dead, and then allow the questions and objections to come.
A month, not
$1,000 a month. So the $500 would be the upfront payment to us, and then the $500 that you're spending throughout the month, you don't get charged that upfront by Facebook. It's so $500 a month divided by 30. So you're spending around $15, $16 a day. Your thresholds on your ads, it kind of depends per account, but you'll be paying that as the month goes on. So you're not having to pay that all upfront.
Okay.
So is there
no?
Is there something?
Come on, I was waiting for
feel
that.
A little bit weary about.
No, sit in the silence. Sit in the silence. Let them think. The minute you speak, you're losing conviction. You're losing buy-in. Okay, you start to sound desperate, and this agency owner hasn't been desperate throughout this whole call, so we don't want to start coming across like that. Sit in the silence.
So do you have any objections? Is there something that's kind of making you
feel
a little bit weary about that sort of monthly fee, or how are you thinking about that?
No, I know you got to spend money to make money.
That silence could simply mean, yes, okay, this works, yeah, fine. Yeah, let's do this. Now, what you've done is you said, do you have any objections? Is there anything that's making you feel weary of that? Because you're uncomfortable. Okay? Don't put that in their head. Sit in the silence. Let them speak.
You make money, but
yeah.
But it's like still like, oh, another $1,000 payment,
Absolute conviction is what we always need.
Yeah, but I mean,
that statement, are you weary of anything? No.
It's most popular in the winter months, and January is usually your slowest month. So things do take a little bit of time to get set up. Takes around 7 to 10 days to get all the creatives made.
Let's get them over the line.
Back end. getting you on board and whatnot. But if we were able to do this, we could get started by January and start making this a more, more profitable month for you.
Yeah. Okay. I'll need to talk it over with my husband first.
Gotcha.
But I'm sure he'd be happy to not have to deal with that part of it.
Yeah, definitely.
And if you're able to, get him to work, because he obviously couldn't. So, yeah. And then I don't know, maybe we'll, depending on like could we do like the $10 a day for the first month just to kind of see how it goes?
Yeah. So the $10 a day, that'll be putting you around 300
right.
for the month. Again, $500, it's going to be sort of tough to start seeing consistent results with just $10, even though 15 isn't that much different than 10. It's really going to make a difference. And you're going to start seeing leads come in a lot quicker at that $500 per month. So it's possible you're going to be getting people booked in, paying you before you're having to spend that full $500 on the platform.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, and I mean, if I get 2 people, then it's paid for itself. So
yeah, absolutely. And I think that getting that proof of concept in the early stages is really powerful. And then it kind of shows you the power of the platform.
Right.
And then you can always scale up from there. But I really don't like going under that $500 per month. So testing out at $15 a day, I think it's a perfect place for you to start getting in some new clients.
Okay. All right. Well, let me talk to him, and then I've got your phone number, so I can just give you a call.
Yeah. And if you want to set up another meeting with us 3 and we can kind of talk about some final things, I'm definitely open to that. You have my email, you have my phone number. We can get something booked. I'm pretty free the end of the week. So if that's something you want to do, I'm totally open to that as well.
Okay. Sounds good. Yeah. He for sure would have availability on Friday. So,
I'm going to let this run and then I'll give my comments at the end.
Thursday afternoon. I think we want to go skiing on Friday. We'll see.
Are you going up to Beaver? Nice.
Yeah. The kids are out of school, so he has a surgery Friday morning, and then I think our plan is to head up there. So
have you gone yet for the season? My friend went out on opening day and he said it was not as busy as he was expecting.
Yeah, no, we didn't make it up there. Our kids all have season passes, but we don't. So the opening day was season pass holder only.
Oh, okay.
And then he was on call last weekend, so we couldn't go anyway. But yeah, we're for sure gonna get some skiing in over the break, because gotta get their money's worth on their passes.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I go to Snow Basin and pass prices are kind of getting insane. So I got to go a lot this season to make
make it like, most bang for your buck. So
yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, I will talk with him and I'll let you know. It may be tonight before we can talk, but if we do it, I definitely like to get started, the first of the year, so we can, get going.
Yeah, absolutely. But again, thank you so much for taking this call. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I'm always here to answer those for you.
Awesome. Thank you. And thanks for being flexible with the meeting. Sorry about
no
that.
worries. No worries. Okay. Have a good one.
Good day.
Bye.
All right. Bye.
Okay. Cool feedback. Can't lie, the end of that call was fumbled. Okay, the sale doesn't start until the first objection. Let me just move my strategy notes over here. So the objection started coming out, the agency owner fumbles, and if they haven't been in sales before, I understand why. It is intimidating. There'll be lessons to take from that, but I 100% would have got this client over the line with a few very simple changes. Okay, now this agency owner has notified our team behind the scenes that they actually signed up this client. They got them over the line, which is good news for them, but they could have done it on this call much easier with less friction. Obviously, the biggest mistake is when they then positioned their price. They didn't sit in the silence, and they started validating their price. Even worse than that, when silence came later down the line, they then said, do you have any objections, or do you have any doubts or concerns? And they instilled those concerns. You don't have an idea of how much an impact those statements can make on the client in those stages. You need to be sitting in full conviction and confidence. Now, I like that they pushed back and said, no, you do need to stick with the $500 ad spend, okay? And that it's going to be spread across the month. That was handled really well, okay? And what we could have done when we were getting those pushbacks even further is we could have introduced some kind of a guarantee. I don't know why we didn't do that. We could have introduced, look, I completely understand your concerns, but I'm so confident this will work for you and I want to prove this to you. What about if I guarantee you 5 qualified appointments? Stay dead, see what they say, okay? Create that confidence that they need. Just start batting away. See, these objections is just like, these are just ticking. You're just ticking things off the list. Okay, let me just get rid of that. Get rid of that. Solution. That's what an objection to handle is, okay? I need to speak to a partner, such a common objection. Now, very rarely do they actually need to speak to the partner. Normally they want to sit and they need to think about it themselves because they've got questions in their head that they want to go through, okay? So we simply say, oh, I completely understand, just so I can get an idea though, are you 100% a go with this, but you just need to check with them? Yeah, I'm 100%. Or, no, I'm not really sure, okay? Or if they say I'm not really sure, then you dig into that. So why is that? And you try and find out the reason. If they say, yes, I'm 100%, okay, awesome, that's great. Is there anything your husband could say that would put you off this idea, though? Okay? And then we peel back the layers, and we don't find out the husband objections. We find out their real, true objections, and we have the opportunity to handle those. And we want to always do that. Always push back. Never take no for an answer, okay? Tick these objections off the list. Don't be afraid. There was so much conviction throughout this meeting. Really great tonality. The discovery stage was handled really well. The presentation was really nice, okay? Created some good solutions. Don't fumble it at this final stage. This is your opportunity. You've done all that work in the meeting. It's your opportunity to continue and guide them through to this yes. Help them overcome these concerns. It's very natural. They're a very rational business owner if they have concerns. But we need to help them overcome those concerns. And to do that, we need to be able to identify them. So we have to dig in and we have to peel back the layers. Be cautious going back into the personal stuff. We went into the skiing thing. That went a little bit too long for my liking. Yes, it's good for rapport, but we're distracting from the sale. And most importantly, never leave a meeting without another meeting booked in. So how long is it going to take for you to speak to your husband? I'm going to speak to him on Tuesday. Okay, awesome. Let's get a call booked in for Wednesday morning then. What time works for you? Just assume that we're going to have another meeting. Assume the close. Okay, we create that pressure, that time stamp on when we're actually going to make that decision. Okay, this is really important because if not, it's very easy to get ghosted. It's very easy for this to be dragged out and be delayed down the line. Now, unfortunately for this business owner or this agency owner, this didn't happen in their position. But for many of you guys, if you don't make sure you've got another meeting booked in before you leave that meeting, you're going to get ghosted and that can be very frustrating. So remember guys, the sale doesn't start until after the first objection. Every good salesperson relishes in objection handling, taking off those objections, peeling back the layers and finding the real truth so they can squeeze the prospect into a sale. Now finally, I've got a bunch of strategy notes from this meeting. If you want to get access to them, there'll be a link in the description. Sign up to our newsletter and you'll get sent the Notion notes from this call. Speak to you soon. Cheers.